I was just going to read this. This is from it's vintagenews.com. It says, historically speaking, translating the Bible was not as innocent as one might assume. More than a few cases speak that such an act at some point was deemed heretic by the church. Hence, translators were denounced and even put to capital punishment in front of watching crowds. So, here's why I brought that up: is who would have put that death sentence on doing translations?
Well, the church would pronounce it as heretical, but the church would not pronounce a death sentence. The church hands over miscreants to the secular arm to deal with as it sees fit. And in those times, the secular arm saw burning at the stake and other means of capital punishment as suitable for the crimes of heresy and other crimes related to matters of religion.
Right. So you're saying that when you say secular, are you talking about the actual priests in that country?
No, the king.
So
the bishops of the country would find the heretic guilty and then hand him over to the secular arm for punishment.
Right, but wouldn't it be the religious part that determines the sentence?
No, it wouldn't pronounce death. It would pronounce that the person's guilty of the crime of heresy, say. Like, for example, St. Joan of Arc was found guilty in a show trial, scandalously, of the crime of heresy. But she was not, the church tribunal did not say she is to be burned at the stake. She was handed over to the secular arm, which decided to burn her at the stake. Of course, in practice, everybody knows they're like that. And this means burning. What I'm trying to get at is, though, in Catholic political theory, this is how it is. And we must speak of political theory because this is how we understand how things will operate in different times and places, the underlying principles. You might say, well, it isn't right anyway to do this. Fair point. But that's really, I don't like to look in the past and say, oh, they were wrong. Each has its own time. We through time, particularly in the Christian kingdoms, we advance, we move forward. Other civilizations don't. They're wretched. They just carry on, whether it be enslaving, as the Muslims do, or just treating other people like dirt, like the Hindus do. We can't constantly advance. But that doesn't mean we're always going to be at the perfect place that Jesus wants us to be at the beginning. When the monks went and created Christendom, they infused the Christian kings, they infused the pagan kings that converted to Catholicism with a new idea. That didn't mean those kings totally abandoned their pagan ways. The seed was planted and it would develop, it would germinate and grow over the centuries as the English kingdoms particularly began to develop, consolidate and gradually become one kingdom. And then the whole island became one united kingdom. Then we see the Christian principles that the Catholic Church has given to those kings when, say, men like St. Augustine of Canterbury came here from under Pope Gregory I's instruction. We see the improvement of morals throughout the realm. And then we see that if we widen the scope to the rest of Europe, and Scandinavia, these were bad pagans. If an Englishman was unfortunate enough before this land was Christian, before the Scandinavia was Christianized, to be caught, an English king in his petty kingdom being caught by some Vikings, he could expect to be opened up when he was alive, to be put on a rock, to have his lungs taken out, and to be spread out around him like two wings of a kind of angel.
Yeah, that's what the Vikings.
The Vikings were creative in their paganism, but that's what our monks had to deal with in converting these people. And when you look at what has been achieved on the eve of the Reformation, this was what we call the highest civilization by that point, all by the work of our priests and monks, and of course the Holy Spirit.